Good evening, Internet, and welcome back to the ARM Apocalypse. I am 8BitPonies, and we're back with another Starfleet Battles Academy stream. Um, Not sure if this is going to be a complete series yet. If this is going to be a pickup for our Monday night streams, but we are nonetheless here this evening. We have Bennett back. Welcome back, Bennett.
Hello, hello.
And we are going to pick up where we left off last time, in a manner of speaking. And continue with the lessons, I guess, on how to play Starfleet battles. Last time we played with, well, we did what is referred to as the Cadets game, um, where we take a couple of simple war cruiser type ships or light cruiser type ships and fight each other using just only the most basic set of rules. Last time it was only phasers and heavy weapons. This time we're going to add in a little bit more, but not too much because we got, once we start getting into some of these things, they, the game can get very, very complex very, very quickly. Um, but we're going to add in overloaded heavy weapons today, and we'll talk about a little bit about what that means. And then we're also going to add in seeking weapons, specifically for the Federation and the Klingons. We're going to be adding in drones. That'll be fun, as it adds some complexity. It adds some additional offensive and defensive options for our ships, and like I said, it adds a bit of complexity. A good chance that we'll do a little bit more damage this time than we did last time. Without any further ado, I guess we'll just get right into it. The difference is with overloaded heavy weapons and standard heavy weapons. Well, it takes a double power. For photon torpedoes specifically, um, you can start with somewhere between 2 and 4 points of power. So since the photon torpedoes take 2 turns to charge, you're going to want to put somewhere between 4 points and 8 points into each photon torpedo in order to overload it over the 2 turns. Depending on how much power you put in, that is going to determine how much damage the warhead does. Standard uh, warheads for photon torpedoes do 8 points of damage. Fully overloaded photon torpedoes do 16 points of damage. Um, and if I'm not entirely mistaken, um, the well, the range for photon torpedoes, so the range for any overloaded weapon, any overloaded heavy weapon, is reduced to maximum of 8 hexes. It doesn't, and I'm going to pull up the SSD here to show the photon torpedo chart. It doesn't really improve your 2-hit very much, as it would for, say, a disruptor. But your overloads are going to change the damage that your weapon will do whenever it fires, and assuming that it hits. As I mentioned before, you can begin overloading on the first turn of loading if you want to, somewhere between 2 and 4 points of power, um, or you can wait until the final turn of loading and overload them at that point in time. So, for instance, if you wanted to begin by overloading, instead of the normal 2 points of power that you put into your photon torpedoes, you would put in 4. Let's say for example, and then for the second round you would also put in 4 for a total of 8 points per overload. If you can also charge them, charge them, I guess, uneven, and put in the original 2 points of power for the first turn, and then somewhere between 2 and 6 the second turn, to manage that overload. So and then at the end of those two turns, when the torpedo is fully completed and ready to fire, if for whatever reason you do not fire at that turn, rather than holding the photon with a single point of power per, an overloaded photon torpedo requires 2 points of power to hold. So essentially, you are to keep it simple the simplest way to overload a photon torpedo is just to double everything. You double the power that goes in, you double the power to hold, you double the damage. There are fractional overloads that you can do as well. That's a little bit more advanced. Takes a little bit more math. If you're running short on power and you want to do an overload, but you don't want to put in the full warhead strength, then you can do fractional units of power as well, or fractions of that eventual 8 points of power for the overload. For disruptors don't change that much. But the same concept applies. You double the amount of power that goes into the disruptor, and you ostensibly double the damage, while shortening the range to a maximum of 8 units or 8 hexes. Disruptors are just generally speaking, disruptors do not get a better firing, or a better range, or better roll to hit unless you use the UIM that we talked about. This is a Klingon-specific firing mode, which makes all of their, for overload specifically, makes all ranges a 1 to 5 to hit. That comes with its own trade-offs, though, or its own drawbacks, as each attempt you make to fire a salvo of disruptors, whether it's one or more, with the UIM module, you run the risk of burning it out and losing that altogether. So,
And just to be clear, I can like mix and match. I can overload 2 torpedoes and keep 2 on normal, right?
absolutely, each
Great.
torpedo is handled entirely separately or independently. You can do standard loads, you can do proximity fuse loads, you can do overloads, and you can choose between the torpedoes that you have and the various types of loads. The only difference with the proximity fuse is that you need to, whenever you put in the second turn of loading, or second turn of charging, for a proximity fuse, you mark that torpedo as a P. You put it somewhere on your energy allocation form that it's a P, and that makes the range better for the proximity fuse, or for the photon. And I'll go back to the light cruiser for that. So it makes the 9 to 12 a 1 to 4 to hit, and the 13 to 30 a 1 to 3 to hit. So it's for long range fire, but it does limit the damage. It reduces the damage down to 4 instead of 8. And you can't fire inside 9 hexes for a proximity fuse. And once you set a photon torpedo to proximity fuse, you can't unset that. Similar to the overloads. Once you begin overloading, you have to finish overloading. You can't put 4 points of power into a torpedo on the first turn to start overloading, and then put 0 points of power in the second turn and say that, well, now I've got 4 points into it. It's now a standard torpedo. It doesn't work that way. So once you've started down a particular path, you cannot leave that path for the loading of the torpedo. What else? Oh, yeah. So, unlike standard and proximity fuse, overloaded torpedoes will fire at a range of 0 to 1. And you can't miss on a photon torpedo, and I think, you can't miss at range 0 on a disruptor. It's 1 to 6. However, if you decide to fire it that way, you will take a fraction of the damage back yourself. It's called feedback. You're firing very volatile, very explosive, very destructive weapons at a very, very close range, and you do wear some of it yourself. So be aware if you're running overloaded weapons, photon torpedoes, or disruptors, you can actually damage yourself by firing them at range of 0 or 1. So heads up. Desperation play, it may be okay, may be a good thing, but you do understand that you'll be taking some damage back if you fire that close. Any
Okay.
questions on heavy weapons and overloads?
Nope. Really.
Great.
Never mind.
Then we'll talk about drone racks. The Federation New Light Cruiser has a single drone rack, which is found here at the back of the ship. And the ammunition for the drone rack is found over here on the SSD underneath the administrative shuttles next to the crew units. It requires no power to use. Drone racks are dumb weapons in that they don't require any power to um, energy allocation time to use them. They are reliant entirely upon their ammunition. Whenever you launch a drone, I think for everyone, and I'll have to confirm this, but for the sake of today's game, we'll play it this way. The target has to be in your forward arc. Whenever you launch a drone, you put a drone counter on the map, and I have some drone counters that are going to be available that are here on the map, if I can just get to them. Here they are. So in front of your New Light Cruiser there on the map, which you can't see because I don't have it visible. But now here on the map, I've placed a drone counter. It's just a little
I
missile.
cannot see the drone
Interesting. Oh, on
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 roll
roll
20.
20. That's because I put it on the GM layer. So
Mm,
if I put it on the token
there you
layer,
go.
now you should be able to see it. It
Yep.
also maintains heading and facing. I'll have to make sure that it gets assigned to you, um, to where you can actually move it if once you launch it. But it has a heading, it has a facing, and it has a separate speed. We will be using speed 20 drones for this match. Both of us will have speed 20 drones, um, so that whenever they get launched, 20s will be on the board, and whenever we call 20s, drones move. As far as the order of operations for movement, regardless of how fast the other ships are going, drones always move last. For the reason for that is that they're seeking weapons, and they have a predetermined set of rules that are used to determine where they go. Whenever you launch a drone, you have to determine a target for that drone at launch time. It has to be a target that's in your forward arc, but at that point in time, you are no longer in control of that drone's movement effectively. Each time it moves to the closest available space to its target until it reaches range 0 with that target.
Okay.
Which, if it reaches range 0 with that target, it explodes, and on the shield or the facing that it moved into, um, drones don't move around targets to try to get to specific shields. They are just, again, they move in a straight line directly towards their targets. Um,
Question on the drone movement. So I'm
yeah.
just going to move my ship up a little bit. So
Yep.
if I have a ship right here,
hmm
first of all, do drones follow normal turn rules?
Drones have a
Mm-mm.
turn radius of 1 for all moves, so they can turn at any time.
Okay,
Um,
that answers the question.
yeah. So yeah, they can slip, they can move forward, they can turn, and they can turn in any direction effectively. It's what for other ships, for other units on the board, ships and fighters and shuttles and things like that. It's referred to as a high energy turn, where they can make make any number of 60-degree turns in a single space. But drones can make in lieu of a movement, if need be, they can make a greater than 60-degree turn inside their space.
Yeah,
So
I was just kind of wondering if I have a drone coming at me head on that just turned, like if I slip to the side, would it be able to turn and hit me? Which,
yeah,
yes.
yes, it could, and it could also slip into you
Yeah,
effectively.
yeah,
The reason that high energy turns exist is because it is possible for ships to move faster than drones, and for ships to be moving e- fast enough to get entirely behind drones. So drones can, again, in lieu of a forward movement or a slip, perform what is known as a high energy turn and turn up to 360 degrees inside their hex as their movement, if need be.
great.
All right, so I'm going to remove the drone, at least for the time
Um,
being.
can we shoot drones with phasers or whatever?
Yes, so that's the next thing that I was going to get to, is that
Great.
drones. There are lots of different types of drones. For purposes of today, we're using Type 1, or maybe they're even Type 3. I don't know, but they're basic drones, which means that they have 4 hit points. Phasers are not inhibited whenever firing at drones. So if you're firing phaser 3s or phaser 1s or phaser 2s at drones, then you're firing it as though it was in any other unit. Attempting to
Great.
fire a photon torpedo or a disruptor or something of that nature um, is a little bit more difficult, and there is a penalty on the die for firing at those. I think it's a 2 point penalty for whenever you're firing at a drone with a heavy weapon or a non-phaser weapon. You also have on your SSD a anti-drone table, which is right under your turn mode,
Yes. Yep, yep.
which shows the usage of the anti-drone. So on Klingon ships, and specifically on non-Federation ships, um, there are drone racks and then ADD or anti-drone defense racks. They're separate things. So I have 2 drone racks on my anti-drone, or sorry, on my D5 warcruiser, and I have also 2 anti-drone defense racks. They have different sets of rules. They have different sets of ammunition. My drone racks carry 6 drones per rack, and my anti-drones have 12 shots each. Though anti-drones are specifically direct fire weapons that are used basically only to attack drones. Um, Based on the range you are to your target drone. If you have a drone coming in and you want to use anti-drone defense, you declare that you're firing ADD at the drone, and you roll on the table based on your range. If you hit the drone, you kill it. The end.
Great. How do I see how many drones I have?
So on the Federation ships are a little odd in that their racks are referred to as G racks, which means that they are drones and anti-drones mixed in the same rack. So on a given turn, you can decide that you are going to fire a drone, which is a 2 space. So the dotted line in between the longer rectangles, it would be considered both of the white squares separated by that dotted line,
Mhm.
or you can fire an anti-drone from that rack that turn. So for G racks, on a given turn, it's either a drone rack or an anti-drone rack. Whatever is the first that you fire is the only thing they can fire for that turn.
Okay.
That is important because anti-drone racks are not limited by the 1 per turn limit. They can fire once per impulse as long as you have targets and as long as you have ammunition. So if you miss this turn and you're able to you miss this impulse and you're able to maneuver yourself to where you're still not going to be struck by the drone, the next impulse, you could potentially fire again. But please do remember that if you fire an anti-drone from a rack, you cannot fire a drone from the same rack in that turn. Conversely, if you fire a drone from a rack, you cannot fire an anti-drone from that rack in the same turn. So
So I can
go ahead.
So I can only launch per turn a drone or anti-drones. I can't do both in a
Correct.
turn.
For on that particular style of rack. That's a
Okay.
limitation.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
both a limitation and a flexibility for the Federation, is that they carry the both of the same kinds of ammunition in the same rack, so you have the versatility there. But it's not so versatile that you can fire both types from both types from per turn or from on the same turn.
Yeah, that's fine.
Drones, whenever they strike, if they do reach their target and they strike and they explode, they do 12 points of damage. Baseline. There's all kinds of different types of drones, and you can increase that, you can decrease that, you can make drones harder to kill. You can armor them, you can arm them with different types of warheads. There's lots of different things that you can do with drones and more advanced rules. But for today, our drones are simple 4 hit point, speed 20, warhead of 12.
Great.
And drones can be launched on any impulse, but again, they're like similar to other types of weapons. They can be launched at any time on a turn, but they can only be launched one per rack per turn. You'll notice that I have a pretty distinct drone advantage over you right now. I have 2 drone racks and also 2 ADD racks.
Yep.
So while the Federation has lots of advantages in that you've got considerably more offensive power in your phasers than I do have the drone uh, the drone benefit or the drone advantage, at least for now.
For now.
All right. Well, I guess then.
Really quickly,
Yeah.
what sheet do you want me to be on for energy allocation?
You
I
can use.
assume
Yeah,
NCL.
you use NCL. I'll use
Great.
D5, and we'll just go from there. So we'll go ahead and start turn 1 with energy allocation.
Yep.
And I'll do that as per usual. I'll do it on stream so that everybody can see what I'm doing. Counting out my warp engine boxes, which is 24. My impulse engine boxes, which are 5. And then my reactor is only the 2, the APR back here.
For then impulse is 4. Oh. Okay.
And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to stop me and ask.
Yep. I can do math. Okay. And then we start with full batteries, right?
Correct. Your batteries are considered full.
One for life support, one for active fire control.
Correct.
So 6, 7, great. I can front load my overloaded torpedoes, right?
If you choose to do so, yes, you could put 4 points in them this turn, and that marks them as overloads. You have to put 4 points in them next turn as well. That's correct.
Well, I can do like 6 points this turn and 4 next, right?
The
Or 2
most the
next.
most that you can do is 4 on the first turn of
Okay.
loading. You can do 2 and 6 or 4 and 4, but you can't
Yeah.
put 6 in the first turn. I don't think.
Okay. Activate shields 2. Okay. Energy per movement. That's feels kind of bad.
First turn's always the worst. Now it is possible to
Yeah.
start. So we're effectively starting at what was referred to as weapon status 1, where
Mm-hmm.
we have no weapons charged. We have to charge everything to begin with as we go on the first energy allocation. There's greater weapon statuses all the way up to weapon status 3, which would see all of your weapons having received at least 2 turns of charging, up to 3 turns of charging. So,
Okay.
but we're going to go ahead and start with weapon status 1 just to once again get the experience of having to manage all of your stuff at once for the first little bit.
Yeah, what a great experience that is. um, I'm at fractional speed, right?
Correct. You're two-thirds of a
Yeah.
point of power will move you 1 hex.
No energy for drones. At least that's something.
Yeah,
Do I need active fire control for
you
drones?
do.
Damn
So
it.
there are a couple of other rules that we'll get into as we get into more advanced stuff. Um, I will draw your attention to the sensor, scanner, and damage control and excess damage markers on
Mm-hmm.
your SSD. So sensor is used at any point in time that you're meeting a ship for the first time, or if you don't have an active lock on, a firing lock on to a ship, you roll against your sensor table to determine if you can lock on to a ship. So you take a ship and you say, I'm going to attempt to lock onto it. You have to roll your sensor value or less in order to lock onto it. If you cannot lock on, then you cannot launch seeking weapons, and attempting to fire direct fire weapons at a ship that you do not, or a unit that you do not have a lock on to, is considerably more difficult as well. I think it's
Great.
I think it's like ×2 + 5 or something like that on the range. Um, so it gets particularly rough. That usually doesn't matter, at least at the beginning of the turn, because you cannot roll less than a 6 on your sensor track. And so then also your sensor track determines how many seeking weapons you can control, or your ship can control at once. So you can, with your NCL, most ships have a 6 on that list to start with. It either
Mm-hmm.
starts from the top down or from the left to the right. But as you start taking damage, sensor, scanner, and damage control are things that can take hits when you start taking internal damage, so that can be reduced.
Yep.
Scanner, the number that is either to the far left or the top of your scanner track, is the number that you add to every roll whenever you're rolling to fire weapons.
Great.
And then damage control is another advanced concept. It's used for repairing shield boxes in combat. Put a
Okay.
put a number of power points equal to the top value or the far left value, and then you get half that number of points in repair at the end of that turn. But
Okay.
we'll get to that at a different time.
Yeah.
You ready to go to Impulse 1?
I think so. I'm at a speed of I can do math. 100%
You
of 9.
Okay, so you're doing 9, so you put in 6 points of power.
Yep.
All right, and I'm doing 19. So
19.
19
I don't like that.
and 6. I'm going to go ahead and put
Let's go
20s on the
ahead.
map as well,
I cut that.
just
Okay.
in case we get to the drones. And
Oh, we're getting to the drone.
well, in case we get to drones this turn, I mean.
Yeah. Is there I forget, there is, maybe I just completely missed it. There is a range I have to be to you to launch my drones?
No. You can
Okay.
launch as long as you have a lock on to me, which happens the second that we come onto the map together.
Okay.
Then you can launch a drone. Um, Drones will only last on the map for a set number of turns. For the default drones that we're using, that number of turns is 3. So effectively 96 impulses from firing
Okay.
before they run out of
Let's see.
fuel and they stop. All right,
So what? And these drones go 20.
they move speed 20. That's correct.
All right.
All right.
And then last question, just for the drones, you say the last 3 turns. Do we do like impulse counts for that, or is it just 3 turns?
It's
Like if I launch it on impulse 32 of turn one,
then it'll last till impulse 32 of turn 4.
turn four. Great. All right.
Yeah. All right. I need to fix my. I'm trying to fix my energy allocation form or my speed impulse form. That's not
Yep.
working out so well. So let me.
I do not have control of my drone either, so
I will put it on there for you. Bear with me
great.
just a second, and we'll get that done.
Yeah, you're good.
You do have
Uh,
control of it now. So whenever
great.
you fire it, it will
Yep.
be fired into your hex. So you drop it effectively into your hex, and then it moves um, toward its target the first turn.
Great.
Yeah, or its first move.
Uh, I think I'm speed 9, not 6. 6
Oh
points of
no, you're right.
energy.
You're right. That's correct. My mistake. Okay, so I'm trying to get the energy or the speed impulse form set up, but I forgot to remove the highlighting the last time, so that's going to screw some things up for me. So bear with me just a second while I get that fixed, and then we will. Okay, good. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, it's breaking everything. That's good. All right, so I'm moving speed 19. You're moving speed 9.
Yep.
And I won't call them till we actually have them on the board, but speed 20s are potentially in play as well. So I'm going to put them up. There we go. All right. Impulse, turn 1, impulse 1. Nobody moves. Impulse 2. Let me switch over to where we're actually looking at the screen. There we go. Impulse 2. Just a reminder for everybody who's watching the ships that we're playing with. We're on opposite sides this time. You know what? I could actually probably just fix that. I'm gonna move you over to the left side, and I'm gonna move myself over to the right side
Sounds good.
and change
Out of
faces.
curiosity, are there like maps with terrain or whatever that, like planets or whatever?
Yes, it is possible to add terrain, um, asteroids, various types of other types of terrains as well.
Interesting.
They are varied, and
Yeah.
but all equally dangerous. Things like black holes, nebulas, ion storms, gravity waves, all of those types of things play Billy Hell with ships that are trying desperately to kill each other while all these other things are going on.
Fun.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So then Impulse 2, 19's move, which is me. Impulse 3, nobody moves. Impulse 4, 19's and 9's.
Yep.
Impulse 5, nobody. Impulse 6, 19's only.
Oh, let me check what am I, 9s? Okay, great.
Impulse 7, 19's only. And again, I've got the ships up so you guys can't see everything. Let me fix that. Why are you being so difficult? There we go.
So that's what technology's for.
That's what technology's for. You are very correct. Impulse 8, quarter turn is ended, and 9's only. This impulse.
Yep. Step to the side.
Yeah, what is my range to target? 35, 36. Okay.
Do you know if there's a way for me to hide the little player icons at the bottom on Roll20?
The
Like it's 8BitPonies and Bennett the Dog's bottom left. Sorry.
I don't think that you can hide them all together. You can. Are they like big for you, or are they?
Yeah, they're pretty big.
Um,
Yeah, whatever. I'll figure it out later.
look in your settings
Okay.
during energy
Yeah.
allocation for next turn. I guess. We'll go ahead and continue with Impulse 9, 19s only. Impulse 10, nobody. Impulse 11, 19s and 9s.
Okay. Forward.
33.
Okay.
Impulse 12, 19s only. Impulse 13, no one. Impulse 14, 19s only. Impulse 15, 9s only.
Take my turn.
Okay. Interesting. Trying to stay at range so that as
Just waiting for my torpedoes to
get those
charge.
torpedoes to charge, yeah.
Yeah.
Mid-turn is 16, 19s only. And we're currently at range 30. So I can actually shoot at you now.
I would highly recommend that, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Imagine you would. Impulse, Impulse 17, 19s only.
So when I launch a drone, does it stay bearing the same? Does it start bearing the same direction I do?
It does. Yeah, you fire
Okay.
You fire it forward, and then it immediately upon its first turn can turn to face the direction it needs to go.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. But again, you have to be the target
Yeah,
that you're
you're
firing
not
at
within
has to be in
forward
forward
arc.
arc, right? We did 17, so we're going to move to 18, and that's 9s only.
Okay. Forward.
Impulse 19 is 19s only. Impulse 20 is no one. Impulse 21, 19s only. Impulse 22, 19s and 9s.
Okay.
Impulse 23, no one. Impulse 24, 3/4 turn, 19s only. Let me check ranges again. 26. Okay. Impulse 25, 9s only. Did you move?
Oh, I go.
Yeah,
Right.
9s.
I'm on top of it tonight.
You
Yeah,
got this.
turn like that.
Now I'm in forward arc.
Hold on. Yeah.
25.
Let's blast it. Let's shoot a drone.
Okay. Launch your first drone. So we'll move it up to where it is on your space, and we'll turn it to face the direction that you're facing.
Yep.
And from this point forward, I will start calling 20s, and you'll move that one as well. There's no question as to where that drone is going. We'll just roll it. So 19s and 20s on Impulse 26. Impulse 27. 19s only. Impulse 28. 20s only. Impulse 29. 20s, 19s, and 9s.
Okay. Forward. Forward.
Yeah. And let me check the range again. 21. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and fire disruptors at impulse
Sounds good.
29. And so one additional concept that we haven't talked about before is the concept of a narrow salvo. If you're firing multiples of the same type of weapon, and by that I mean direct fire weapons, you can fire them all as a single salvo. Essentially, just saying that you're using the same die for all of those weapons. So you roll once and you apply that number to all of the weapons that you're firing.
Okay.
I am not going to do that because it's a 1 to 3. So I'm just going to roll 4 standard disruptors.
Okay.
So roll number 1 is a 2, which is a hit. Roll number 2 is a 4, which is a miss. Roll number 3 is a 6, which is a miss. And a 2, which is a hit. So that will be for standard disruptors at range 16 to 22. On your front shield is 4 points of damage.
Great.
Any reinforcement or anything like that?
No, sir.
Okay, then I will place the damage. Bear with me just a second while I do that. And pull up the shield, the ships so we can see them. And I don't have, where is it? Where's my brush? There it is. Okay, so 4 points of damage from the front shield. So 1, 2, 3, 4. First blood goes to the Klingon.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That was Impulse 29. Making a note here. All right. And we go to Impulse 30. Impulse 30, nobody moves, even nobody at all. Impulse 31, 19s and 20s.
Okay.
Impulse 32, final impulse of turn 1, everyone moves. All right. Begin or return to energy allocation for turn 2. I'll go ahead and set up
Yep.
turn 2. And we'll get rolling.
Okay. So no, that's not what I want to do. This. Man, even when math class is canceled, I still have to do math.
It says a lot about a person, what they choose as their hobbies.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm still wrapping things up on my side. Let's see here. Okay.
think I came up with a good name for my ship.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Put it in there. It's on the turn order. The USS Otter.
Nice. Very cool. All right.
What's
I'm
this?
still deciding on...
Oh.
Yeah, we'll do this. Oh, no, can't quite do that. Wait. Why not? What have I done wrong? Oh, I haven't done anything wrong. I'm just... Okay. All right, just checking again. Yep, everything looks good. And okay, I'm ready to roll when you are. 20s are still
Great.
on the board. What's the speed for the Otter?
Speed 12.
Speed 12. Let's see, we'll call ours the IKV Marksman.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, the Marksman speed is 28.
Okay. I think, yeah, okay. Well, here we go.
Here we go again.
Another jousting match.
All right. So I'll change the...
Torpedoes are ready.
Yeah, I know. We'll change energy. We'll go back to energy allocate. Or I didn't show energy allocation this time. But we'll go back to the speed impulse chart and return 20s. We'll also put 12s on the map, and we'll also put 28s on, which means I'm going to need... I'm good. I've got everything in one view, so they're great. All right, starting on impulse numero uno.
Do you want to change Otter to 12 on turn order for me?
I will do that. Thank you for the reminder. All right, impulse 1 of turn number 2. Nobody moves.
Okay.
Impulse 2 of... It's 28s and 20s.
Okay.
Impulse 3, 28s and 12s. $16, huh? Interesting. Impulse 4, 28s and 20s.
Okay.
Impulse 5, 28s and 20s.
I can... I don't remember. Can I do as many side slips as I want on the missile?
No, but...
Well, I guess I can just
it
turn
can also...
and go down.
Yeah, it can also turn. And then just turn again the next time as it needs to.
Right.
All right. So this is impulse 5. So this is the since I fired disruptors on impulse 29, this is 8 impulses from that. So just looking, and yeah, this looks like as good a shot as any. I'm gonna go ahead and fire disruptors.
Copy that.
So I will do a narrow salvo this time just to see if it works out for me. If it doesn't, that's a shame. But if it does, great. So 4 disruptors, standard, narrow salvo.
Range 14.
Range is 14. 1 to 4 is a hit. No! No! 4 failed disruptors.
Okay.
All right. That will end that for me. Great. So disruptors on 2.5. Awesome. That went real well for me. Okay, next up then, Impulse 6. 28s, 28s and 12s only.
Okay. Um, Wait, hold on. If I do this, what arcs will you have? Whatever. We're going down.
Okay. I am going to launch a drone.
Okay.
All right. It's also speed 20.
That it is. Theoretically, could I launch a drone at another drone?
Yes, you could.
Okay.
Any drone that strikes another drone automatically destroys both.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah.
Like, you could launch like a lightweight drone or something at some super juiced up drone.
Right.
I imagine.
That is correct.
Interesting.
All right. Let's see. So drone launch. I'm just keeping track of everything. Drone on 2.6. All right. Great. Okay. Family's almost home. Impulse number 7, 28s and 20s. I'm going to go ahead and move
Drones
my
go
drone.
last, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and move my drone first, just because it's going that direction anyway, and I need to be able to control my ship. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go this direction, and this is a turn.
Okay.
Okay. Next impulse. Let's see, turn on to 9. All right. Next impulse is impulse 8, 28s, 20s, and 12s.
Gonna be a slip. Stop running.
Never!
The drone's gonna do that. Move forward.
There we go. All right. Drone is at range 6. Got it. And I can move. Have you moved? Because I haven't moved my drone yet.
I've moved both, yeah.
Okay, then I'm going to move my drone forward. All right. Next up then is Impulse 9, which is no one. Impulse 10, which is 28s and 20s. I have to go forward. That's going to put a drone at range 4, which is not great. This one's going to come in and slip.
Okay.
Impulse 14 is 28s and 12s. And I have to slip.
Did I just slip?
I honestly don't know.
I don't either.
We'll say that you haven't.
Okay.
Then my drone comes in.
Yep.
Your drone is at 4 away from me. I just slipped. That's not ideal. Impulse 12. 28s and 20s. So I've got to go forward. Your drone comes in. My drone slips. Your drone is at range 3. I am going to fire an anti-drone. So once again, on the anti-drone table, which is here in the center, at range 3, it's a 1 to 4 hit and kill. So I'll go ahead and roll. And that's a 5, so it does not get hit.
Nice. Okay. Still in there.
All right, and I got to mark off an anti-drone. So ADD is 1. You know what? So I'm gonna draw your attention right here to at the bottom of the anti-drone table where it says
Yep.
limited Aegis controls phaser 3s and ADDs. Limited Aegis, uh,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, limited Aegis says if you have multiple, I think it means, so Aegis means if you have multiple weapons that can fire, you can fire one at a time and then decide if you want to fire the next one, to decide if you want to fire the next one.
Okay.
I don't know if that if limited Aegis gives that. So I'm going to say that it doesn't for purposes of this game. We'll confirm that with rules for next time. But for this time, because I didn't say that I was firing both of my anti-drone racks, um, I'm not firing the second one
All
after
right.
this. All right. Impulse 13, 28s and 20s. I do get a slip, which is good.
As do I.
And this guy's going to come on in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm now at range 3 again. I'm going to fire my other anti-drone rack. 1 to 4. A 3 hits and kills your drone. So we're just going to remove it.
Right.
And yeah, so that one's done.
Okay.
Just to make sure that we don't,
Yeah.
we'll look
No,
at it.
that's fine.
Yeah. All right. So then, oh, display capture. So I did kill the drone that was coming in on me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then next impulse. Let's see, hang on a second. Turn on to 9. Moved. That went to 8. Oh, okay. Impulse 14 is 28s and 12s only.
Okay. I will turn.
Yeah, I know.
I will.
The 20s do not move this
So
time.
question.
Yep.
If I say I'm shooting both my anti-drone and phasers at the drone,
Mm-hmm.
if my anti-drone kills your drone, do my phasers still fire?
They do.
Damn.
Yeah. That's where Aegis comes into play. Is
Yeah.
that
All right.
you can
I'll shoot off an anti-drone. I can. Yes. Okay.
yes. So it's 1 to 4 is a kill.
Yep. Let's.
That's a hit.
That's a kill.
All right. So hit and kills the drone.
Yep.
So we'll just remove that guy as well.
Let me mark that then.
I might be in
Okay.
a bit of trouble.
Yep. I hope so.
Okay. That's Impulse 14. Anything else?
No, sir.
Impulse 15. 28s. I'm going to remove 20s, or I'm going to stop calling 20s because we have no 20s on the map.
Okay.
Um, so I am going to slip this turn. And that is so. Yep. Okay. Great. And Impulse 16, 28s, 20s, and 12s. Just literally just said I wasn't going to call them anymore, but and there I did.
I will slip.
All right, and I'm turning.
I swear Olives is going to give me more flack for not shooting my torpedoes. Okay.
Range 9. And we move on to Impulse 17. Nobody moves on Impulse 17. Impulse 18, 28s only. Impulse 19, 28s and 12s.
All right, guys. He's running to another corner.
Impulse 20, 28s only. Impulse 21, 28s only. Impulse 22, 28s and 12s. Impulse 23, 28s only. Impulse 24, 28s and 12s.
Yep.
Impulse 25, nobody. Impulse 26, 28s only. Checking, yeah.
Okay.
Impulse 27, 28s and 12s. Impulse 28, 28s only. Impulse 29, 28s only. 1 second. Impulse 30, 28s and 12s. We'll slip there.
Okay.
Impulse 31, 28s only. And then impulse 32, everyone moves their last. I'm going to
All right.
slip.
Great.
And actually, no. I'm just making sure. Yep, I'm good. I'm going to make a turn. And go there.
Okay, perfect.
All right. That'll be impulse. That'll be the end of turn 2. I'm going to step away for just a minute to say goodnight to my little girl.
Good.
And we'll do energy allocation. So we'll go ahead and start with that. And I'll be right back.
I'll also step away real quick.
All right. So I'm going to pick up energy allocation again.
All right.
Well, that turn did not go my way. Not even in the slightest. So you've got overloads completed.
Yeah.
And you're holding them now.
That's 2 points each.
It is. That's not good for me. That's not good for me at all.
So, on my drone racks,
Mm-hmm.
I launched a drone first turn.
Yeah.
Then I launched anti-drone,
Right.
which uses up half of a slot there.
Correct.
Do I have to use another anti-drone before I launch another drone to
You do
finish
not.
that slot? Okay,
No,
I
you do
just
not.
mark off a different slot.
Correct.
Great.
Okay. I turned on 32. Good to know.
All right. I am ready.
As am I.
I'm at speed 21.
And I am at speed 28.
Okay.
All right, so we'll change impulse speed chart. We'll remove this guy, and we'll put you on 21. All right.
To battle.
To battle, indeed. Back to the old. There we go. All right. Well, you're not going to chase me into a corner this time. At least not that
Yeah.
corner.
Maybe a different one. We'll see.
We'll see. All right. Impulse 1. Nobody moves.
I'm gonna shoot another drone.
Yeah, bring it. All right.
Okay.
20s are still on the board. So we'll say impulse 2. Everybody moves. I will slip. I just turned, so I can slip.
Okay.
Impulse 3. 28s only.
I might outrun my own drone.
You're
In fact,
gonna.
I will.
It'll be a nasty little surprise for later.
Yeah.
Impulse 4. Everyone moves. Slipping again. I moved forward last time, so that allows me to slip.
Yeah. I will slip as well on both.
Okay.
All right.
Just looking at. Okay, cool. Impulse 5. Everybody moves forward.
Forward.
Impulse 6. Just me. Impulse 7. Let's see here.
So how liberally can I apply the rule of like it has to track? Like I can lead my shot with my torpedo or my drone there, right?
As long as it doesn't have uh, a better location that it could go to, it can't intentionally move to a space that is further away from me.
Okay, well, I guess my question is like, do I have to go straight to you or can I lead my shot?
Well, given that it is moving slower than I am,
Uh-huh.
and the number of moves that it will get in the amount of time that I am moving, just moving it forward will likely be tracking in the same path.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah. You can't intentionally have it try to come and cut me off if it's not
Yeah.
if that's a further away, like if the target hex is further away or not closer.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as long as it's getting closer to me with every move, then it doesn't really matter which
That's good.
path it takes. All right, we'll go to impulse 8, in which we all move. And impulse 9, no one moves. And impulse 10, we all move. I'm turning, so I'm turning on impulse 10. I threw away my. It's 310. And where are you? 14 away?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna fire.
Okay.
So not gonna marrow salvo this time because that was a mistake. So 4 standard disruptors.
Sounds good.
1, 2, 4 hits with standards. So first is a hit, second is a hit, third is a hit, fourth is a hit. So
Right.
all 4 hit, those be in your front shield. 12 points of damage.
6 points of reinforcement.
Not surprised. So 6 points of damage. All right. And damage is reflected there on the SSD. So great. All right.
So what's the like? Do I take half damage if I fire point blank overloaded?
Actually, no. I think it's actually I'm gonna pull it up. So bear with me just a
Okay.
second. I'm going
Yep.
to consult the rules, and while I do that, I'm gonna pull it up so that the stream at large can see that as well. So the photon torpedoes rule is an E4, so I'll move down to E4. Sadly, I do not have bookmarks for this PDF.
Mm.
Um, but feedback um, is 1/4 of the damage. So
Okay.
if you have a fully overloaded photon torpedo and you fire at range 0, you take 4 per torpedo.
Okay. If it hits, right? If it misses, I don't.
Actually, feedback damage, all overloaded photon can be fired at true. Well, it will hit because it's 1 to 6.
Oh, right. Duh. Okay.
Um, but yes, if it scores a hit at range of 0 to 1, damage is scored on the facing shield of the firing ship as well. Correct.
Yeah, that's fine.
There are instances with things like electronic warfare, which is another advanced rule we'll get to, where you could potentially fire at that closer range and still miss. It's possible.
All right.
All right,
Not
then,
today though.
but not today. All right, Impulse 11, 28s and 21s.
Okay, I'm just gonna move that out of the way for a second.
Okay.
Okay.
I see. Yeah, you're right. He doesn't move. I'm gonna go ahead and launch my drone. So bear with me just a second while I go get him.
All right.
All right. So 11, 3, 11. All right. And Impulse 12, 28s and 20s. So I will move. So this guy will move forward. His first move is always forward. My move will be to go to forward as well.
Okay.
Impulse 13, everyone moves. This guy will end up, okay, so he's going to move there. My move will be to, let's see, we'll slip. All right. Oh boy. Okay. Impulse 14, 28s and 21s. Oh boy. This is getting real tense.
Hold my turn for a while. I have that in the back too. All right.
Impulse 15, 28s and 20s. Oh, can't see hexes. Sorry. Thank you, Olives. 28s and 20s. I moved forward last time, so this time I can slip.
Yep.
And the drone will continue forward.
I can't retarget my drone,
You
right?
cannot. Once it's fired,
Okay.
it's fired.
Damn
Yeah.
it.
Sag. Impulse
All right.
16, mid-turn. Everyone moves. This one has to be forward for me.
Yep.
And my drone will
Mm,
move to intercept.
I think my drone slips.
I think it does too. My drone's going to need to turn. And I moved. Yes, I
Yep.
did. And that is, since that is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Uh-oh. Impulse 17, 21s only.
Okay. Slip. And my drone goes. All right.
All right. I think I got caught, guys. Impulse 20, or I'm sorry, impulse 18, 28s and 20s.
Yep.
I will turn and go that way.
No, your missile turns right.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I have to. See, I went forward last time.
No, I think you slipped last.
Did I
Oh,
slip?
you're right. You went forward.
So I slip. Oh crap! I'm running out of space here.
A little bit.
That's not good. That's not good at all. Okay. Yeah, that's not great. All right. Well, impulse 19, 28s and 21s.
Yep.
20s don't move.
You're right. I clicked the wrong thing. Okay.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Okay. I'm gonna fire another drone
Okay.
because I
A little
have to.
scary.
I have only fired one each
Mhm.
turn, and now I just realized that I have two.
My spacing here, 6.
Oh, I moved him off. I moved him.
Yeah, he was right there.
Yeah. There we go. That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to copy it and move it.
Okay.
All right. That's impulse 19.
Yep.
Impulse 20. Everybody moves.
Everyone moves.
Drones coming forward. Drones coming forward. Pony's gonna slip.
I think I will as well.
Here it comes. Here it comes, boys.
you're not
Here it
getting
comes, boys.
away from me that easily. All right.
Here it comes. Okay,
Oh,
so
I did not want to do that. Okay, we're good. Accidentally grabbed my drone instead of checking distance. Okay.
okay. Here we go. Impulse 21. 28s and 20s. I slipped, so I gotta move forward.
Okay.
Drones coming in.
I will fire an anti-drone
Okay.
at this guy.
Range is
So,
3. 1 to
yes,
4.
sir. That's a hit.
That's a kill. Okay.
Okay, this is this is the dilemma.
I just slipped, didn't I? I literally just
No,
slipped.
you have a slip next turn. You just moved forward.
Okay,
this
so
turn.
I need to go back
Yes.
and I turned on. Then I turned on impulse 18. I didn't mark my turn. Okay, so turn, slip, move. Turn, slip, move. That's what I've done. So it was on
That sounds
16, not my 16th move, which is on 19. Turn, slip, move. Okay. All right. Turn, slip, move. Great. Next impulse 22 is on 28s and 21s.
Okay.
I'm going to slip.
Yeah, of course you are. I've learned from my mistakes last time. You're not getting out of this one.
We shall see.
Even if it costs me my front shield, I will hit everything.
I'm gonna fire.
Okay.
So I've got 3.
You have phasers left, right?
Correct. I have 3 phaser ones that bear to this side.
Great.
I'm gonna fire all 3 of them.
And then, really quickly, sides count center line. Like if I'm here, I can shoot with both sides.
Correct. Left side and right side
Right.
do include the yeah, that's correct. All right. So then, yeah, okay. So range is 4. I'm going to fire all 3 of these phasers. Yeah, okay. So range is 4. So 1, 2, and 3. So 3, 5, 3. That's all the same. That's 12 points of damage, which is not going to go in on your front
I'm
shield.
gonna drop some batteries on
Okay.
that. I'm gonna shield it.
You got 2 batteries.
Yes, sir.
So 10 points of damage to go on. 1,
Mm-hmm.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
5.
10.
10. Okay, how much do I
3.
have left? I have 4. Oh god, that's annoying.
Okay. Sorry, you
Damn it.
got, and that, I need to pull up the ships whenever I do the damage. So you got 10 points still left in your front shield.
Yeah, that's not kind of you. Now I can't tank the whole overloaded at point blank. Damn. Okay. It's I was hoping I could just tank that all on my front shield and run past you and let my back take the rest, but that's not gonna happen.
Okay.
And
Interesting.
then full overload does 16, right?
Yes.
Per tour. Okay, okay.
Yes. Are we ready to move on?
I think we are.
Oh boy. Um, Impulse 23. Everybody moves. I just
Okay.
slipped, so I have to
Yes, you
go
did.
forward, which is not good for me.
What's the distance?
2.
2. Okay.
I
Um,
I am
um,
firing.
yeah, let me
It's coming this direction.
1 to 5. There's no way I miss all these, right?
It's a,
All right, all systems go.
all right. First, I need to fire an anti-drone. I'm gonna
For the
fire.
record,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm shooting my 2. Oh wait, no. Damn. That doesn't bear, does it? Oh yes, it does. I'm firing my 2 oh, no. Phaser 3 is right side,
Yeah.
so it
So
doesn't bear on that.
1 phaser 3 bears on that. Correct. Just the left side phaser 3. The right side one
Okay.
does not currently.
Yeah. What's the range there?
3.
Well, let's see. That's range 3, phaser 3, range 3. Oh, that's so bad actually. Okay. Then I will hold both phaser 3s, but everything else is going straight to your front shield
Yep. This is gonna
and
hurt
beyond,
a
hopefully.
lot. It's gonna hurt a lot. I should have turned the other direction, but yeah, this is where we are. All right.
Yep.
So I've got 1 phaser 1 that fires at you. I'm firing 2 ADDs just to have a better
ADD.
the anti-drone.
Okay.
I'm firing them at your drone.
Right.
So I'm gonna resolve that first. So 1 to 3
Right.
is a kill. So first one misses, second one hits. So your drone's
Okay.
gone.
That is a kill.
I'm gonna go ahead and fire my 1 remaining phaser 1 into your face at range 2.
Okay.
And that is going to be 4 points of damage. So 1,
Great.
2, 3,
Shield
4.
hanging on with 5.
And it's still got 6.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, it does. Right. Okay.
And I'm about to take a lot of damage here.
All
Okay.
right.
Let's see what you got. So you're
All
firing.
systems go.
You are then firing 4 overloaded photon torpedoes and 6
Yes,
phaser
sir. And
ones.
6 phasers. So we'll do the phasers first.
Jiminy Jaminy. Okay.
At range 2 is going to be damage no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
To see it. 3, 6, 6, 5.
You got 2 more,
That's
right?
not getting me too excited about my photon torpedo rolls.
You got 2 more phasers that you're firing?
Oh, right.
6, 6.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. I catch a little bit of a break, not a lot, but so the 3 is 5.
Mhm.
Everything else, well, 3 is a 5, the 5 is a 4, so that's 9, and then 4 sixes is 12, so it's 21 points of damage on my front shield. Okay, so 21 so far.
Yeah. All right. Let's hope I got all the bad rolls out of the way.
Are you going to go narrow salvo?
What do I need
1
at
to
this
5.
range? 1 to 5? No. No, 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 no. No
Okay.
narrow salvo.
All
Eh,
right.
I should have gone narrow salvo.
Yeah, I should have
1
too.
hit,
That's a hit. That's
2
2
hit,
hits.
3 hit,
Oh, all hit.
4 hit.
Okay, well, goodbye, Mr. Klingon. That is 64 plus 21. That is 85 points of total damage.
4.
Hmm. Okay. I'm gonna dump my 3 batteries. So that's 82 points of total damage. We're gonna go 18,
You have 30 on your front shield.
20,
So that's
4, 6, 8,
52 going in, I think.
32 on my front shield. No, you're right.
30.
You're right. It is 30. So 30, yeah, 30 comes off. So 52 go in.
Yeah. Oh, is that count? You said 3.
I dropped 3 batteries as well. So
Okay.
of your
So that's
85,
20. Oh,
52
yeah,
are going
85.
in.
Yeah.
God.
Yep. Wait, how many squares do you even? Okay, well, let's just start rolling.
I have 31 units of power, so I'm okay. I mean, this is
No, I
gonna
mean
hurt.
like how many squares are in each ship?
Well,
Like things that
more.
can hit.
I think more than 80.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a whole lot left on my ship when this is done, but we'll see what we've got.
All right.
All right, so um, start rolling on the DAC, and I'll start calling them.
Okay. 6.
His hull, so
What hole?
forward hull
Okay. 7.
is cargo forward hull. Okay.
Okay. 11.
11 is a torpedo, and that is underlined, so we won't hit that one again.
Okay. 5.
5 is a right warp engine, also underlined. We won't hit that one again.
11.
11 is a phaser, has to bear. None of my phaser 3s do, so I'm going to give you my left wing phaser. Okay. That's also underlined.
9.
9 is left warp, also underlined.
3.
3 is a drone.
Oh, that's huge.
That hurts. I'm going to dump one of the ADDs. Okay.
Okay. 3.
There's a phaser. It's my other wing phaser. Ouch.
7.
7 is going to be hull.
10.
10 is another phaser, which is going to be one of my forwards.
6.
6 would be forward hull, but I don't have that anymore, so now it goes to impulse.
Another
There's
6.
another impulse.
7.
Is battery. We've passed the forward hull on that track, so we'll mark those off. And we go to battery.
Okay. 4.
4 is another phaser. All of my phaser 1s are gone. Good thing I fired them.
Yeah. 11.
11 is an impulse. Okay.
5.
5 is aft hull.
Another 5.
Another aft hull.
There the button is. 6.
6 is another impulse. That's the last time in that category.
7.
7 is another battery.
Another 7.
My final battery. Okay.
6.
6 is my final impulse.
9.
9 is forward hull, no. Cargo, no. Battery, lab. Okay, we'll take that.
6.
6 is also lab. And that is the last time in that category.
3.
3 is impulse, no. Left warp engine. Pow.
Okay. 7.
7 is center warp engine, I don't have, so we go to shuttle.
Okay.
Pow.
I don't think I have 12.
12 is auxiliary control. That's not good. Pow. Okay.
8.
8 is aft hull. First time in this on the 8s.
Yeah, that's the first 8.
That's weird. Okay.
6.
6 is left warp. Pow.
5.
Is aft hull.
How many more do I have?
Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Still some.
Still some. Okay.
Still about 23, 20, yeah, 23 more.
Okay. 7.
7 is a shuttle. And that is the last time in that category.
8.
8 is more aft hull.
8 again.
Final aft hull
12.
is an emergency bridge. Pow.
5.
5 is no more aft hull, no more cargo, no more battery, no more shuttles. Torpedo. Ouch.
10.
10 is a tractor beam. Where are you, tractor beam? There you are. Okay.
6.
6 is left warp engine. Pow.
8.
8 is APR. Pow.
10.
10 is left warp engine.
7.
7 is APR. That's the last time in that category.
9.
9 is lab. No. Drone. Okay. Take one of my actual drone racks there.
8.
8 is APR. No. Shuttle. No. Right warp.
7.
7 is APR. No. Lab. No. Uh-oh. Phaser. And that is not underlined. That one hits every time.
Okay. 9.
A right warp engine.
7 again.
Uh-huh. Okay. Phaser.
9.
Right warp engine.
Wow. 7, 9, 7, 9. 6.
Left warp engine.
8.
Right warp engine.
3.
Impulse left warp engine.
7.
Phaser.
Okay, I think this is the last 3.
Okay.
4.
Transporter.
8.
Right warp.
And 2.
Bridge. Hit me where I live. All right, so I'll count them up just to be sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 52. Yep. 52
Great.
internals. I'm not
Was
looking so
that
hot.
satisfactory torpedo use for you, Olives?
That stung a little bit.
Little bit.
All right, we will drop the DAC. We don't need that anymore. So that is what seems good, indeed. Uh-oh. What am I doing? What am I doing wrong here? Let's Control Shift C. Nope. Oh, that's weird. Alt Control Z. Damn it. What's going on here? Oh, that's where my problem is. I'm using the wrong keyboard.
Oh, yeah, that would do it.
Oh,
Yeah, that's why you hold the torpedoes
that's
always,
why
so
you
that
hang
you
on to the
get
torpedoes. That is
those
right.
big guaranteed shots like that.
Yeah. So I made I made a technical error there for sure. Um, the um, the turn that I made into you, I was thinking that I would be able to turn inside you and maybe get out of your forward arc to keep that from
Oh, I
happening
see.
until I was able to get another shield away and then move. Like, so I had enough speed on you. I felt like I had enough speed on you that if I could have, I was trying to avoid getting stuck in that corner by trying to turn and go the other direction. Um,
Mhm.
you were moving faster than I was anticipating. And I like let me see. I turned on 19, which means um I would have one more slip and then I could turn again. So I was two moves basically away from getting turned away. Um and then you wouldn't be able to catch me
Hmm.
until I'd be able to turn around next turn with overloads and hit you back. But that was unfortunate. I was going to try to get phasers fired off, and then get moving again, or rather get drones launched and get going away from you again. But I miscalculated it. That's the long and short of it. So um, I don't think that it's worth continuing, honestly,
Okay.
because I have one phaser 3 left on the ship and two disruptors.
Okay.
I mean, sure, it's going to be two turns before you can fire photons at me again, but you haven't taken any damage, and there's nothing
Nope.
I'm going to be able to do with two disruptors and a phaser 3. Because all you need to do now is just disengage and run for two turns, and you can outrun me.
Realistically, I could probably just stay on your tail
You could,
and
you absolutely
keep the
could.
pressure up.
I might get a lucky shot in and knock out, one of your torpedoes or one of your phasers um, next turn, but yeah, I mean it's not looking good. I'm certainly not going to win this. I lost that one whenever you got within range 100%.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
As long as I didn't get hit like I did with the rolls last week.
yeah. I was hopeful. I was hopeful that the rolls would hurt you again. That maybe I would get three or two of the overloads instead of the full brace of four. But I mean, this time the dice were significantly more with you, and
Mhm.
my tactical misstep just sealed the deal there. You've still got ample phaser threes and
Yeah.
ADD that you
Yeah.
can. Well, you can't use ADD this turn because you fired a drone, but you still got
Yeah.
ample phaser threes where you'll keep that drone off of you most likely. Um, so that pretty much ends that conflict. We'll call that where it is. You win this one for sure. Um, I mean, you don't have to look too hard at the SSDs. I almost got through your front shield, and you hold my ship.
Yeah.
Um, so um, next time we will play with a couple of additional rules. Let's see. We'll do shuttles. We'll
Okay.
do HETs. And we will do um, we'll say tractors and transporters.
Okay, so shuttles HGTs, foot
HETs, high energy turn.
HETs.
So,
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'll go ahead and pull up the SSD and we'll talk about what those things mean. So, shuttles. Every ship has a shuttle bay, or most every ship will have a shuttle bay, and each shuttle box is represented by an administrative shuttle that has multiple different roles on a starship. Um, Role number one. It's an administrative shuttle that you can pop out. It moves. It's basically another unit that you can put on the board, and it moves at speed 6. It has a single phaser 3 that it can fire every turn, and you control it like you control another smaller ship. It takes uh, it takes damage like anybody else does. It has 6 hit points, and whenever it's taken 6 hit points worth of damage, it is destroyed. The end. That's what an it's not a seeking weapon. It's actually piloted by somebody, so it can go basically anywhere that a ship can go. It can do anything that a ship can do, and it can fire its one phaser 3 every turn without having to worry about energy allocation or anything like that. Then there are special roles for shuttles. Um, Drone using races can do what is called a scatter pack, which is it loads up 6 drones onto a shuttle and launches the shuttle as though it were a seeking weapon. The scatter pack shuttle will behave as though it were a drone until certain conditions are met. X number of impulses passes, or it gets within X number of range of its target, or basically whenever you launch it, you provide it with specific rules. And once those rules are fulfilled, it destroys the shuttle and launches all 6 drones at once.
Hmm.
The drones can have different targets if they wish. They can have the same target if they wish. But at that point in time, it just becomes a swarm of 6 drones. Now
Okay.
that doesn't absolve you from the your sensor track as the number of seeking weapons that you can control at once. So if you have other drones on the board, you have to decide which of the drones stay in play, because you can only control so our ships at this point in time can only control 6 seeking weapons at one time because they have the 6 at the top or the far left side of their sensor bar.
Okay. Interesting.
So that is one usage of the shuttle as well. There's also a usage of it requires 3 turns of arming. You put energy into the between 1 and 3 points into a shuttle um, at energy allocation on each of 3 turns. And if you do so on the 3rd turn, you can launch the shuttle as what is referred to as a suicide shuttle, which is basically a slow, big drone that does, whenever it reaches its target, it explodes and does double the damage that it was the energy that was placed into it. So if you wind up putting 3 points of power into it over or each turn over 3 turns, that's 9 points of power. If it reaches its target, it does 18 points of damage when it explodes.
Okay.
Um, also, um, also requires control. So it counts against your seeking weapons limit. So again, it's like a big drone, so it counts like a drone. You can only have control 6 at a time. Both scatter packs and suicide shuttles can be fired upon, and if they take 6 points of damage, they are destroyed. The thing about scatter pack shuttles, though, is if you hit the scatter pack shuttle and you don't kill it, it releases immediately.
Hmm.
Um,
Interesting.
there is a fourth and I guess final for administrative shuttles, fourth and final mode called a Wild Weasel, which is similar to uh, a suicide shuttle in the arming, as it takes 1 point of power per turn over 3 turns. At the end of that 3rd turn, it can be launched as basically a sensor decoy. There are some additional rules that have to be followed, like you can only be moving at a certain speed. Um, you have to turn off your active fire control temporarily, and you have to keep it off. But at least while the Wild Weasel is active. But whenever the Wild Weasel is launched, it becomes active, and any seeking weapons that were targeting the launching vessel at the moment that it is launched will instead target the Wild Weasel shuttle for as long as the Wild Weasel shuttle is out there, and then a number of impulses after it is destroyed.
Okay.
So basically, a get out of jail free card to some certain extent
Yeah.
against things like scatter packs and large waves of drones. Um, there are some drawbacks. Like I said, you have to be moving at a very, very low speed. You have to drop fire control, so you can't fire during the time that the Wild Weasel is active. And there are a number of other specifics to the rules that we will go over in more detail next time we play.
Sounds good.
Um, transporters. Transporters. You have a number of transporters on your ship. They can be used for a couple of different things as well. It takes 1/5 of a unit of power to power each transporter. So if you have 5 transporters on your ship, and I don't think that either of us do, if you had 5 transporters on your ship, 1 point of power would power all of them. There are 3 different things that a transporter can do. It can transport boarding parties on board a hostile ship. When boarding parties are placed aboard a hostile ship, we enter I think every 8 impulses, or maybe it's once a turn. I'll have to go back and look at the rules again. The boarding parties that are on or both sets of boarding parties on the ship will do combat, and uh, one if a hostile group of boarding parties beats the boarding parties on the ship that they're attacking, the ship is effectively captured, and it is rendered inert for the rest of the scenario, effectively. Boarding parties can also be used as basically like a hit and run, or like almost like a direct fire weapon. We mentioned this very briefly last time as a hit and run. It's essentially sending boarding parties on board to specific boxes on a ship to attempt to destroy those boxes. You roll on a table. It decides whether the boarding party is successful or not, and whether or not the boarding party is destroyed in the attempt. But if they are successful or they escape, they return back to the ship, and they could potentially do it again on a later turn. Um,
Hmm.
your boarding parties are at the top left hand corner of your SSD. My D5 has 8 of them. The
I also have 8.
cruiser has 8 as well, or the NCL has 8 as well. There are also uh, mines called transporter bombs, which can be placed in a hex by a transporter within a range of 5 of the placing ship, and those mines, effectively, if another unit gets within range 1 of that mine, it explodes and does 10 points of damage to everything around it, everything within range 1.
Okay.
So that can be used to place out in front of other ships, or in front of oncoming drones or things like that. Um, and so we'll add that in the next time. The drawback to using transporters is that you cannot transport through shields. So
Interesting.
in order
Okay.
to use your transporters, you have to have a shield down, or you have to temporarily drop one of your shields. You can, on any impulse, and this is before the firing step of the impulse, by the way.
Mhm.
Just as a heads up, you can opt to drop a numbered shield. Say, I want to drop my number 6 shield, or I want to drop my number 2 shield, or my number 4 shield. That shield will stay down for a minimum of 8 impulses.
And then do you have to use batteries or something to bring
No,
it back up?
no,
Okay.
it's like a timed. Yeah, a
Excellent.
timed temporary lowering of that shield. Um,
And then if your shield is destroyed, you don't have to, like, say you're dropping it or
Correct.
something, they can
If
just
your
fly
shield
through
is
it, yeah.
destroyed, then yeah, you don't have to drop it. The enemy dropped it for you
Yeah.
on a more permanent basis.
Yeah.
So those are all things that you can do with transporters. Just an addendum on the transporter bombs. Once per turn, I think. I'll confirm that. I think once per turn per shuttle bay, you can do what is referred to as rolling one off the tailgate.
Mhm.
You activate a transporter mine, a transporter bomb, and drop it out of your shuttle bay. It does not become active until you leave its activation radius of 1, but then it becomes active and it is placed secretly.
Interesting, okay.
So you effectively, if you do that, you take record of the actual hex that you were in whenever you dropped it,
Yeah.
and then if any unit, it becomes within range 1 of that after it becomes armed, then they set it off and it does 10 points of damage. Again, to everything around it.
Yeah.
The
Including drones and such?
Including drones and such, yes. So if you're
Great.
being chased by drones and you can roll one off the tailgate, then that's a good way to take care of of drones. But
Yeah.
you gotta time it right. Like if you have a wave, multiple waves of drones coming in, you have to time it so that if the drones in the front drones set it off, um, and or the front drones don't set it off, and you know you, you want to maximize how much damage you're able to do with those um, with the mines.
Yeah.
Finally, well, no, not finally, but additionally,
But wait, there's more.
but wait, there's more. Tractor beams. Tractor beams can be used on your ships, and you will have multiple tractors or multiple tractor beams on your SSD. Each box counts as a separate tractor beam. So you have on the uh, Federation NCL, you have two, one on either
Okay.
side at the rear. The D5 has three. There's one in the front, and there are two in the back. Now, their tractor beams are 360, so it doesn't really matter where they show up on the ship SSD itself. But you can put somewhere between 1 and 3 points of power into your tractor beam, and you can actually use it to grapple effectively. Bet- uh, Between range 0 and 3, you can attempt to lock a tractor beam onto another unit, whether it's a drone or a shuttle or another ship, and effectively it creates a bond between those three or those two units, the tractor beam, the tractoring ship and the tractored ship. And then there are special rules that if you're being tractored, um, or you're tractoring someone, then essentially you can't get closer to each other, and there's some
Okay.
special movement rules. So, um, like for instance, if we're within range 1 of each other, and I want to keep you there, or let's say I've got drones coming in, I can't shoot at them right away, but I want to tractor the drone to where it can't get closer to me. At range 1, I lock a tractor beam on the drone, um, and it expends minimum of 1 point of power per hex between 1 and 3, or 0 and 3. Um, Range 0 tractor still costs 1 point of power minimum, but range 1 tractor costs 1 point of power. Range 2 tractor costs 2 points of power. Range 3 costs 3 points of power. Um, and Smaller units like drones and shuttles are automatically essentially held. They can't do anything to stop it. They can't do anything to move a larger ship. If you're if you are tractoring a equal size class to your ship or smaller, then that ship moves when you move. Um, and it can't move. If it's a smaller size class than you, it cannot move on its own. It can't escape your tractor in that way.
Yeah.
There's again, we'll get into more specifics around it, but there is a recalculation of your relative speed, because now you're pushing effectively. You're pushing more than just your mass and your speed. Like, for instance, if you're two size class one, or sorry, two movement warp energy movement cost one ships. If I was moving at speed 18 and I tractored another ship that was moving at speed, or that is the same movement cost as me, I'm effectively moving speed 9 now, but I move both of us on speed 9. And similarly, if you were moving at speed, say, 24, and you got tractored by a ship that is moving the same, that takes the same amount of movement cost, and you're the same size as it, you would move it on speed at speed 12.
Yeah.
You half your speed, or you apply the additional fractional cost or the additional movement cost to your speed, and that's when you move. If you're the smaller ship, then you don't push the other ship around. You can't move independent of a larger ship that is tractoring you or that you are tractoring. And if you are a larger ship than that ship, you automatically get to push the smaller ship around, and it ignores your tractor, and you ignore its tractor.
Yeah.
Um,
But you can, as a smaller ship, you could kind of use a tractor to latch on.
you could, you
Interesting.
could. Now there are some nuances to the rules about, what size of ship can ignore a smaller ship's tractor and things like that. But there is a very specific rule that says if you are being tractored by a ship, um, you cannot fire, or if you're being tractored by a ship, you cannot fire direct fire weapons at other units.
Okay.
So there is a tactic known as the Gorn Anchor, which involves a Gorn ship, which their primary heavy weapons are seeking weapons called plasma torpedoes.
Yeah.
They'll run up on another ship, lock it down with a tractor, and unload a brace of plasma torpedoes that then cannot be fired upon by the ship being tractored, and they hold them until at range 1, 2, or 3, until those plasma torpedoes get there, and then there usually isn't much that's still there to be holding on to.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Primarily for like Federation and Klingon ships, it is used to keep drones at bay. It's cheap, and you can keep drones at bay almost indefinitely as long as you have enough tractors and you have enough power. You can
Yeah.
drop batteries into tractors. You can drop batteries into transporters. Um, there is negative tractor, where you can essentially push back if somebody is trying to tractor you, and you have power that you can dump into negative tractor. Then if
Hmm.
the amount of power that you are putting into the tractor exceeds what they're putting into it, you break their tractor link.
Interesting. Okay.
Um, so kind of a teaser for all of those things. Final thing we touched on very, very briefly in our discussion about drones, but the high energy turn. You can, on your energy allocation sheet, you can see that under energy for movement, there is on line 33, there is an HET. You can put in a base cost for an HET, and on that turn, if you use that HET, it is a one-time um, 360 turn, or you can turn any combination of 60-degree turns in a single space, similar to what a drone does. It happens after the movement phase, so like normal turns. If you're doing a turn, you turn and then move. If you do an
Hmm.
HET, you move and then turn, but then you can turn to face any direction. There's
Interesting.
a
Okay.
drawback to that. So for a normal movement cost 1 ship, it takes 5 points of power to do an HET. For our 2/3, it takes 4 or 3 1/3 if you're doing the fractional. Um, if you're larger, it costs more. If you're smaller, it costs less. But the base is it takes 5 movement points worth of warp energy to perform an HET.
Interesting.
Um,
All right.
every we'll say most ships have a one-time HET bonus, which says I think you add 2 to your HET roll, because every time that you perform an HET, you roll against your breakdown value. Um, because it is so intense on the ship's systems and on the ship's integrity that performing an HET does threaten a breakdown of your ship. If you roll a 5 or a 6 on my D5 or a 4 to a 6 on the NCL, your ship breaks down, you stop moving, you're basically dead in the water for a full turn, and you take damage.
Hmm.
It is essentially suicide, tantamount to suicide if you break down in combat. It isn't a guarantee that your ship will be destroyed, but attempting to do an HET and causing yourself a breakdown in the middle of combat almost guarantees that you are going to be severely damaged in the exchange.
Okay.
Um, we'll look at the specifics again. I'm reciting all of this from memory. I haven't looked at the specific rules in quite some time. But an HET, I think, so the first HET that your ship performs automatically gets a bonus, and I think it's +2. It might be as much as +3 or +4, to where it's basically guaranteed that you get that first HET for free. By that I mean without a breakdown. But any subsequent HETs require a breakdown roll, and they are potentially dangerous. There is consequence for performing lots of HETs.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
So I will post the specific rule numbers in the manual for all of the things that we just talked about, so that you have an opportunity to read up before our next attempt.
Hmm.
I will hopefully perform a little bit better next time. A lot of the things that we were talking about factor very heavily into Klingon tactics, and so without scatter packs and the potential for things like mines and hit and run raids and things like that, the Klingon is not fighting it 100%. That doesn't matter. I pooched this fight regardless, like whether or not I had the full tactics um, available to me. I did not play this very well. So there is nothing taking away from your victory today. I don't want you to think that I think that that's the case. But
Oh, don't you worry. I've been studying our last replay.
yeah, you played very very well this time. You caught me at a you caught me really well, and the dice were significantly more with you this time around, especially as it pertains to your photons. Um,
Yep.
so well done, good job, Captain. We'll pick up at a future date for part 3 of the Cadet game. And then we'll add those additional rules in. Like I said, I'll post those in the Discord if you want to go and read up on those yourself.
Yep.
Um, we'll probably change things up a little bit on the ship classes next time as well. I'm thinking
Bigger ships.
I,
Bigger
I
ships.
think we'll move to heavy cruisers next time.
Great.
The Cadets game normally suggests that you play with the Klingon heavy cruiser. I'm sorry, the
Uh-huh.
Federation heavy cruiser, which is like the Constitution class,
Yep.
um, original series Enterprise, versus the Klingon D7.
Okay.
And I just had light cruisers like ready and available. It's
Yeah, that's
taken me
fine.
a little bit more work to get SSDs, like available SSDs for those ships. But next time, by the time we're able to play this again, I'll have that stuff ready to go. We'll do.
And it sounds like the USS Otter's retiring on the win.
Sounds good
Well, until we pull it back
until
out
we bring it
for
back out. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know, multi-ship battles or whatever.
Well, the marksman did not live up to its name. It only managed to hit with um, what
You hit with a few, I think, 3
six
disruptors,
six
and
of
then
my or 5 of the 12 that I fired actually hit.
mhm,
So it didn't,
and then a few phasers.
and then yeah, a handful of phasers. Um, yeah, so we'll retire. Well, you retired the marksman for me. She's gonna limp home and spend the next 3 years
In
in
dry
dry
dock
dock,
prepared.
getting that buffed out.
Yeah. Get that buffed out.
uh, but thanks again for joining me on this. I hope you had a good time. I know I did.
Thanks for running it.
Absolutely. We'll work on Discord, figure out the next time that we're gonna play.
Yep, sounds good.
All right, everybody, have a great night. Thanks for coming out. We'll see you all next time. Look potentially for Bloodstone tomorrow night. I still haven't confirmed with the other players that they're all available, but I'll figure that out, and I'll either post in again in the Discord that we are not going to play, or you can expect 8 p.m. Central tomorrow that we will continue with Bloodstone on episode 25. Um, have a great night, guys. GG's.
GG.